Good evening. You join us here with Terry from SEO. Hi, Terry.
No, Terry's gone. Terry is off the grid.
He's back.
He's back. He's moving.
I disappeared, did I?
There he is. You were just like, say hello, Terry. You were just like, no, I won't.
Good evening, everyone. Not technical problems. Not good.
There we go. See, the NoFo gremlin. It was all fine before we came on.
Yeah.
So we're talking this week about all things SEO. You've obviously got your upcoming MilSim that you'll be running, and going to be chatting all stuff Airsoft as well. So if you've got any questions for Terry, whack them in the chat. I'll be queuing them up and throwing them at him. So feel free to throw in some surprises.
Yeah.
Nothing too surprising, though. Eh? Nothing difficult. No maths questions.
Yeah, definitely no maths questions. Yeah, we did science last week, so there's no more of that this week.
You've been working on some science, haven't you, Lance?
I can't divulge anything. No,
you can't divulge.
This is all going towards my giant man trap for you next weekend.
Right. Okay.
I'm just working on the bait at the moment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Evening, Phil. Or morning, Phil.
Any news?
No, all quiet on the purchase front, must say. However, I am making progress with my 91 Gulf War Scud Hunter SAS 22 Bravo 20 type-esque loadout thing that I've been wanting to do. Because nice. When that was all going on, I was like, 9, 10. So they're sort of like your heroes. They're like your action men. Do you know what I mean? From my being a kid to look at my idols, if you like. So, and all the movies, I've seen the Sean Bean one, and there was I can't remember his name now. You got the one that got away, then you done the sort of the Sean Bean version of the movie from Andy McNabb's point of view, and the Chris Ryan opposite viewpoints of it. So I've seen both of them, and it's just like looking and watching documentaries on it. So I've always wanted to make a loadout reflecting the Bravo 20 sort of lads. And second, is it the Denison smock, Second World War, sort of like solid block tan smock that they used to have, which they used during the ops, and that little chest rig with the dual pouches either side. So, yeah, just doing research at the minute. So that's what my purchasing route that I'm taking at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that done eventually, which is all good. Yourself, mate? Anything?
Well, we've got now. So these literally arrived in the post within the last half hour. We now have NoFo stickers.
Ooh.
So if anyone bumps into any of us, we'll have some NoFo stickers, and then they are free. I've got the website on there as well, which is
free.
They're free, yeah.
Oh, chuck some coffee. Cool. Good heavens, cool. Well, we have turned over a new leaf for the new year, haven't we?
I know. Loads of money spent on the marketing. That's the entire marketing budget is done for the year now.
That's true.
But I've got a ton of stickers stamped somewhere, but I've got no idea where they are. I had loads of them made. They're somewhere in here. They're in
some of the stickers.
Yeah, I stuck loads on my stuff, and then that's it. I don't know where the rest has gone.
You sure you just didn't use them up? Just sticking all over.
There's people who wanted patches. They're all still sitting in the envelopes where they've been for about 18 months since I said they could have them.
I'll have to grab one off you. I haven't got one of yours yet, so I'll have to get one next event.
Yeah, I don't even know where the rest of them are. They're somewhere.
I'll have the hoodie then. Hoodie would do.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 of these in existence, so why not?
Oh,
yeah,
sought after.
Super special. It'll be Terry at the end of the weekend. Won't have one.
Yeah, where's the hoodie gone?
I'll just like out the window of the truck.
Oh, so hi, John, Fresh Meat, Nick, James, Rage, Matt, Danny, Damien, Kieran, Philip, Mike, Nick, Nandy, Jade, Michael, James C, Paul as well as Matt, James, Fresh Meat, and I've probably said a few of those now repeated.
You have, yeah.
Good evening.
Evening.
So
Nick.
let's start us off.
Mr. Pratt, hello.
Let's start us off. So we've already had a question from Nick. What FPS limit and mag/ammo limits do you have for your events?
Straight in there.
Yeah, there is no. It's always obviously mid caps maximum, low caps preferred, but we don't have an ammo carry limit. We just expect you to not be a retard and carry too much ammo. To be honest, it's not. Yeah. If I see you with 20 mags on you, you won't be able to take the abuse that you'll receive continuously throughout the entire weekend. So you'll learn to next time only carry 6. It's
challenge accepted.
There will be much abuse, and it will be pointed out to you every single time that you walk past me. In fairness, though, you just be sensible. Don't. It is what it is. I don't agree with imposing carry limits, but you're not having any high caps on you, so it makes no difference. Everyone that attends these sorts of events want the realism. So the vast majority are going to be either gas blowback players. So they're talking. I mean, I've got 6 gas blowback mags, so that's 180 rounds I have on me. If you want to carry 6 mid caps, what's that? 700 rounds, whatever, 720.
Thereabouts,
yeah, probably. I mean,
you said no maths questions.
For yourself now.
If you've got more than 1,000, you're probably carrying too much. But I'm not going to stand there counting how much ammo you got. I don't care. Not interested.
It's the whole speed loader thing, whether you. I mean, I'd expect. I mean, obviously, if you've got a GBVR to have a speed loader just for bombing your mags up.
Oh yeah, of course.
So if you're going up against someone who's got mid caps with 720, you've got 180. Do you know what I mean? It's just like the guy's got you got to have a means to sort of bomb up again.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't have an issue with tactical reloading or bombing up in the field. I think it's. I think that's part of the event. If you've got one guy who's out of ammo, you will cover him and let him bomb up. That's part of what you should be doing. It's you think real world, you are only going to be carrying 180 rounds, because any more than that's ridiculously heavy. And
exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, so you want to be able to. I mean, again, if you're talking about gas mags, it's 3 kilos my mags for me in my rig. So if I carry 10, it's way too much. It's just not
exactly. Yeah, they weigh a ton, don't they?
Yeah.
I just realised I jumped the gun massively. Terry, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and who SEO are?
Because we've had him on
immediately bag on into like ammo limits and stuff like that.
It's all good. We did all the pleasantries last time, didn't we?
We did.
Anyway,
but let's just refresh. I think that was almost over a year ago.
Yeah,
we're getting on for it. We've got new peoples.
Must be. Obviously, I am Terry. I am one of the original members of the old SEO team, and then a founding member of the MilSim and say skirmish loosely outfit. We've expanded the team a little bit more recently, so we've moved solely into MilSim events now. We were only providing events for other sites. We've now moved back to doing our own thing under our own umbrella for various different reasons. So that's where we are. We're a purely MilSim company. We're trying to do something entirely different to anyone else in the market. Again, not slagging anyone off, not that anyone else is doing anything wrong, just that we want to be different to what everybody else is doing.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
And I think so. I mean, the point I'm making is that if you did an event 3 years ago, what you will get now is completely different. I think what's changed is I've always been quite good at writing a story and having it unfold, but I've brought people in that can bring other elements to it, to add the realism, to improve briefings, to just give me more real world experience, because I don't have it. I was never in any of the services, so I don't have real world experience. I come at it as a player. These guys have got a different aspect to it, so it's sort of we're trying to improve. So as I say, we're trying to be something different in the MilSim world. Wicked,
mate. Cool. Well, that goes proofs in the pudding with the last one I attended with you guys, which was hosted at Imperium. Bob on. It was wicked. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I was up 4 as well. First time playing up 4.
I think, I mean, I've said at the time that lots of that was really, really good. Lots of that can be improved. It was a good start point for it. It won't happen again purely because I think SEO and Imperium have got a slightly different idea of where we want to go. And again, I've got nothing against the Imperium. I've had no fallout with them, no problem with James or any of the other guys there. Good team, great site, nice people. It's just, I think they should do their own thing the way they want to do it, and we'll do our thing the way we want to do it. The two don't gel well. So
that's fair enough, mate. Completely fair. Like I say, it's a good event regardless. It was I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really good event. It was
a killer. I've never been so broken at the end of an event ever. Honestly, I was completely non-functional when I got home. Couldn't even speak.
I've still not been let off the hook by making fresh meat take that first hill with the helicopters over the crest of it, fully kitted, fully packed with an LMG. I was like, get up that hill, put some cover down. I was like, fucking kidding me, yeah? I was like, no.
I mean, there was absolutely fantastic elements to that event, and I really appreciate Imperium giving us a chance to do what we did, because it was a really good showcase for some of the good stuff we've got going on. It just, all the good stuff will stay, but we've seen ways to improve what we're doing next. So this op we're coming up is a force on force. So it's not it's a peer on peer plus. So it's not a set of op4 running around the woods pretending to herd goats for a full weekend. Both are very organised military units with almost equal capabilities. You know, there'll be drones for both. There'll be proper briefings delivered for both. So, you know, there'll be hard cover or even potentially soft cover, but there'll be cover for both. It isn't going to be right. Op4, get on with it. Go and be a nuisance. It isn't going to be like that. It's going to be there isn't really an Op4. They're both Op4. They're both a version of Task Force almost. So it's very different.
Leveling the playing field for this one a bit more than by the sounds.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, there still has to be differences. There still has to be nuances. I don't believe in having exactly similar numbers on each side. That isn't how it works. So we, the booking for this, there's a set number which I won't divulge. To the point where I don't want anyone to be able to work out how many people are on the enemy team. So I won't tell you how many people are going to be there, but it's not. There's X amount for Task Force and X amount for Op4. It just books until it's full. That I won't make it so that there's 3 times as many as one as there is of the other, because that would just be stupid.
I was going to say you've got 10 Task Force and 240.
It won't be to that degree. I mean, the difference in numbers won't matter anyway, because we like to keep the numbers low. Unfortunately, that means the profit margin is also low, but that the game's better, in my opinion. The event's better for it. So so you won't know how many people you're up against, and that's the idea. Everything's going to be slightly different. We're closing the booking at the end of February, regardless of the numbers, whether or not it's full or not. After February, that'll be it, because the ORBAT needs to be secure. The intel will go out that early. Warning orders will have some specific information for the team leaders and stuff. So it's different to what anyone else is doing. The documentation that's already been created is already in place. So it's just different.
Cool. Nice.
Hopefully,
I'm excited. I am excited.
So what's the setup and storyline for this one?
Now you're asking me. So it is effectively it's a PMC organisation. It's based on a real world one. I won't divulge any of that here, but Opka Brit is based on the real Opka Brit. So it is on the Ukrainian border. The PMC team are there to train Ukrainian special forces on a rotating month-on, month-off basis around the border, and it's just to protect against potential Russian invasion. The task force are there because they have intel that something is happening, and you would have more information.
That's all we're getting.
But that's it. Yeah. So, but effectively, the PMC the idea is it's made up of ex-UK and Oz SF with some Russian potentially thrown in there as well. So that's where it's peer on peer plus. So the two organisations are going to have equal capability and equal technology almost.
I like.
Nice.
Rather than just doing another app, not they?
Yeah.
There's a few. I'll go through some of the comments first. Andy Bob says, we like different. Have you never met the hosts this show? Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Always rely on you, mate.
Yeah.
Puts the wind in our sails every week, this guy.
Yeah. Fresh Meat says, love a hill with my LMG. There you go, you're not living it down. Andy also says, I like the sound of that. Mystery Forces, that's a cracking idea. So clearly doing well on that one. There's some other questions as well. James C says, can people carry loose rounds more for GBBR owners with real caps? So
yeah, absolutely can. I don't agree with stopping people carrying loose ammo. I think it's a silly idea. You rebombing your mags in the field is a skill you have to learn. I think so. It's a good thing. It's no different from having a medic. It's a role that needs to be fulfilled. So you protect your man who's got no ammo, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it's a way of looking at it. I mean, it's not really an angle I've looked at it from before. Is where you could be into a banging firefight with some Op4 or vice versa, and turns out you're running low on ammo now, and it's like, well, fuck, I'm out of ammo. We're gonna have to call this one. I'm gonna have to go back, bomb up again, and come back out. Whereas if you had the kit on you, when you're approaching that, I'm down at my last mag, bomb some up quick, keeps you in the fight, keeps them having a cracking time engaging you, and vice versa. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost preventing that stalemate of, sorry guys, give us 10, I'll be back. Yeah. Stay here, don't move. This was real good.
What I found is I've done it where I've been at a Sterling op where we're at Catterick and we're in a mad firefight, we're holding a point, and every time you're getting hit, they're dragging a medic from another call sign to come and get you back in. I'm covered in tabs. I look like a fucking Morris dancer, and they're rotating you in and out to bomb up because you're like, right, I'm last mag. They say, right, rotate out, bomb up. Somebody takes your firing position, you bomb up, and we stayed in one position for like an hour and a half, just fighting, to the fact I was out of batteries, rounds, loose rounds, bags, the lot. But that rotation, that looking after, is really good. I mean, I've seen it with other events where they'll call in ammo from somebody and they'll drive a vehicle to your position. If you can secure it, you can take the ammo. I think we're not going to do that.
A few times you get open supply lines, basically, and keeping them supply lines open. You can bring resupply to the front, sort of thing, if you like. Yeah, which has been cool. That's been quite good.
Yeah, that works, doesn't it?
Certainly makes it more interesting, doesn't it, when you've actually got people running out of ammo. It's like,
it's an element. It's another element.
Need that supply.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly that. Yeah.
So Fresh Meat said BR2 was banging. Really enjoyed the way it ran, especially the final ambush. So a lot of love for that one.
Yes.
That was
Rage says. Rage says, "Why should I come to one of your events? What should I expect, etc., etc."
You should come to one of the events because it'll be unique, and what you can expect is to be absolutely bollocks at the end of it, and feel like you've gone through hell, but had a really good time. I think it's just the difference for what we're trying to do is trying to implement a little bit more of the technical side of it and make it less airsoft. That's the only way to describe it. It's less airsoft and more. Because I've always been a free-flowing kind of guy. It's all in my head, and I will pull the strings like a puppeteer of an op. But what the other guys have brought is some structure. So you get like the serial of the downed chopper at Black Rock 2. That made a fantastic role play element in that we had the actors pretending to be injured pilots, and that you had to we had fires burning, although that went slightly wrong, so they burned out a little bit too quickly, but they should have been getting put out with extinguishers. You've had the body that was recovered, and then we had the SSE, we blew the helicopter, and then at the same time, you've got an Op4 who have got dickers all looking, and then they put the shout in, and we got absolutely malleted.
It was a good opener.
Absolutely dicked us in. And I think that was like, lots of people said to me, that never happens when you go to MilSim. So it's slow. You're on routine pointless patrols. Nothing happens for the first 2 hours. We want to be different. So it needed to be like an explosive start. Boom, this is what's going to happen. This is what it's going to be like. Unfortunately, some of the set pieces missed. They did miss. So the Op4 guys missed out on some good stuff that just for whatever reason, it didn't quite work out. So you would have like the point of time when we lifted Mikey. That was amazing. That around the sand fob, if the Op4 guys had got there in time and countered, that'd have gone on for an hour. You'd have got us trapped in sand fog. We wouldn't have got out, and it would have been a crazy firefight just to escape. But as it was, lifting Mikey, kidnapping him, he'd done some brilliant role play, put up a fight so that the lads couldn't get him to the ground. He was not having it at all. Which
was that when you had to blow the door on the ground floor building?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And getting the angle grinder out and stuff. You just don't. We're trying to do stuff differently. So we're blowing doors off. We're taking angle grinders to locks. And then we had to use a sledgehammer because the explosive breach failed, which wasn't deliberate. That was supposed to work, but 2 explosive breaches failed. And all that is where I'd made it. I made it myself, the deck. I tested it at home. It was perfect. But what I did was I put 2 charges inside the slap charge, and it ran off 2 separate e-lighters. And I'd never tested the ignition with 2 at the same time. So the voltage from one 9-volt battery wasn't enough to ignite 2. So neither of them went. Every time I tested it and it worked, I'd done it with 1. So now I've changed it now, and now it works perfectly. I've run it with 2 9-volt batteries instead of 1. But it was so that happened, but then overcome it, sledgehammer the door off. So it's what the guy said to us was, we're always told to have a breacher. We're always told to have an SSE guy, and they don't have a job to do. But in this case, we made sure those guys had jobs to do. For the next event, if you're the SSE guy, you'll get kit recommendations from me in advance of the op for what you should have on you, because you'll need actual tools. And obviously,
sounds like a sledgehammer is one of them.
So it's not going to be like, right, you've got to go and get an account with I don't know, whoever, and spend 10 grand on tools, but you can go to Wilkinson's and buy this, and this. You need to have that as a set somewhere on your person and have this, so you'll have kit and training considerations that go out before it's up. So TLs will be told there is, particularly on task force, there's a very strong likelihood that your call sign will be tasked with these kind of activities. You need to have this should be your training considerations. This should be your kit considerations. So it could be your team are going to be doing the SSE, so you need to have the kit for doing this. Your team could be doing the breaching, so you need to have your breaching drills set. You need to have your breaching kit set. Whatever it will be, you're going to be doing recce. Do you understand how to set up a proper OP? If you don't, these are your training considerations. So it will be more like that to give everybody a chance, because the trouble is, you turn up Saturday morning for an op and they go, right, you two, you're going to be doing a recce. Well, I've never done that before. And you've got like a million different patches all over you and no campaign. So if you're told in advance, you know you're not going to turn, you're going to come with a chest rig, you know you're going to come with something to disappear into the woods, and you're going to come cam creamed up. You're going to have
just, like you say, genning up on your field craft a bit, you know what I mean? Bits and bobs like that.
Yeah.
It all help. It all helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm not saying I would give you that information, because a lot of it I don't know, but we would aid you in knowing that stuff. But that's just where it's trying to be different. And I'm trying to give some information without giving too much information, because I'd say I don't want.
We don't want to ruin the surprise.
Well, exactly that. And it's not because I'm worried about others doing what we're going to do, because quite frankly, if others pick up on some of the stuff we've done, that just means I get to go and do it somewhere else. So I've got no issue with people liking what we do and maybe wanting to do similar things, because I've certainly learned stuff off other operations, other companies that operate MilSims. It's silly stuff like this time we're changing the way we're going to do medics, because I've always done it as a tab. It's what the first thing I learned from the way Sterling do it. I've always liked it, but the other guys have said, actually, we want to sort of switch it up a little bit and introduce having tourniquets on person. So every person will be required to carry either a tourniquet or a field dressing for themselves, but your medic can have multiples. So you're not going to have a tab. It's not going to be a count. It is going to be putting your tourniquet on or having a field dressing applied properly in the field. So I suppose it's quite similar to what Legion do. They do a similar thing. I'm not going to take it as far as them, so you're not going to be dragging people across the floor by their carry handles, but you'll be applying dressings instead. So it's just little elements will change, and then we'll see how we
I
feel.
suppose more for the look as well, isn't it? To having to actually seeing like a field dressing around someone's arm or around someone's leg, or like you said. So yeah, that's cool. Them ones that you've got made up, Mike, are rather good, aren't they?
Yeah, so I actually got I haven't got it to hand, annoyingly, but it's a little sports bandage. So it's one of these ones that attach to itself.
Yes,
so it's kind of a bit of a cheap bandage. So it's not like the proper tie-on, because I always think that the proper tie-on ones look a lot more immersive. And if you're actually having to tie it on, but it's got like a pad of I think a bit of foam that's wrapped in a bit of pillowcase and stuff like that. So it looks like a pad bandage, but it's designed to be like a quick armband.
Yeah,
it does. It looks like a proper trauma bandage. It velcros around it. So it does look. It does. When it's on, it does look smart. It looks like.
I think the problem is when people tie field dressing on, they tend to, once they've done it twice, it gets wrapped around once and tied in a bow, and so you end up looking like Bo Peep by the end of the event. But at the start, everyone's doing it properly. So what you're doing will look much better.
It's all the dangly bits I find. It's the fact that someone ties it, but then you end up with great.
They only last so long
like
as well. Do you know what I mean? They
sort of like
only,
white ghillie suit.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Fray, and no one wants to spend a fortune on a field dressing that you're just going to waste. Yeah, everyone's going to go and buy a cheap one that only lasts 2 minutes, gets caught in your Velcro and snags and looks like shit and doesn't work properly. So it's what you've done is perfect. That or a tourniquet is perfect.
Funnily enough, we may have some for sale on our website at some point in the future.
You go.
Once I have
shameless fucking plug advert.
When they're ready, put a link on my Facebook group, and then I can point everyone towards purchasing one of these marvelous bandages.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been this is massively sidestepping the story, but I've been talking to my mum about making them because she made my one and she did a really good job. So I've been recruiting the help of the Harrietsham Arts and Crafts Society to see if I can employ them to just make me a load of them.
We get a sweatbox in the garage going.
There'll be
all these elderly women in this village hall just basically making military bandages. Oh dear. Let's jump on the next question. So Paulus Wales says, do you have a published set of details for the event, i.e. camping arrangement, kit rules, gun rules, etc.?
I don't, because it is invite only. So you need to have a conversation with me if you want to come, because we vet players before we allow them to attend this. And the reason being, I'm not going to ask you what kit you run, couldn't care less. I'm not going to ask you what gun you run, couldn't care less. It's purely about having the right frame of mind and the right attitude, because if you haven't, you'll have a shit weekend. That's the truth of it. So I just want anyone who wants to attend, I want to have a chat with them over Messenger, phone, whatever. Have a conversation. Make sure that you know what I expect from you, from so all expectations are agreed and understood, and then I will add you to the group that contains that. When the warning order goes out, I'll send out a kit list. It'll only be a basic kit list, but that will be in there. In terms of rules, our main rules that we run for our structured skirmishes are present on our Facebook group as a pinned post. They're very similar, very, very similar. What I will say is it's big boys rules. So the rule list is a lot shorter than you'd expect. You know, you're not going to have DSG builds going full auto, putting 50 rounds a second out for 10 seconds continuously. None of those things are going to happen. So your FPS rules are pretty standard. They are basically what is legal in the UK. So if it's legal, you can use it. That's the easiest way to describe it. The ammo limits don't exist. No high caps. Simple as that. In terms of the actual rules of plays, it's standard airsoft stuff in that no blind firing, all that, etc., etc., etc. The biggest thing would be not moaning and making sure your iPro is good. So it's
all the common sense parts come into it.
Just,
really,
I have to reiterate that the whole invite only thing is not. It is elitist, but not elitist in that we don't think you're good enough to play our events. It's nothing to do with that. It's purely about mindset and attitude, and making sure the people that come are the right people, because the events that have gone wrong in the past have been frequented by people that don't have the right mindset, and it not only ruins it for them, but it ruins it for everyone else. So
big part of
we're really trying to avoid that.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Jolly up. It's not a camping trip. Don't bring any booze with you. Don't expect anyone can take a break at any point. But if you are someone who's constantly going to want to sit down because there's no safe zone, you want to sit down out of the fight, not doing the taskings you've been given, then you're a liability. So it's about having the right mindset, having the right preparation, having the right kit is in safety purposes. Like I said, I don't care whether you're wearing Cries or Viper. I couldn't give a shit. But as long as your boots are good, so they're safe and comfortable, as long as your sleeping kit is good, as long as you've got dry, warm kit, that's all that really matters. And then it's all attitude from that point onwards.
So with that then said, Terry, would you say that this could be a potential event for a first-time MilSimmer to attend, or would you sort of say do a couple of others first?
Definitely. No, because if you do others, then we've got to break the bad habits that you might pick up. So
yes.
It's, and again, I don't mean that arrogantly, but I don't think there's any such thing as a bad MilSim for a first timer. Because if you've arrived at the point you want to do a MilSim, you've probably already thought it through. You've probably been playing for a while. You probably know that's the step you want to take. So I don't think there is a bad one. And the thing is, you'll know exactly, because you'll have a conversation with me, you'll know exactly what to expect. And it won't be a surprise. It won't be a surprise. And you'll probably have too much kit to get there. So, no, I don't.
Well, that's standard. If someone turns up looking really lean and like crisp and like proper squared away for their first ever event, they should be allowed to attend it. Unless they've got an enormous backpack on with loads of kit, then that's it.
You're never going to need in a million years. Enough food for 2 weeks. You know.
That's it.
The first,
48 hours worth of rations.
The first one I went to, I've been playing for quite a while when I first went to a lot, but I went to, I've probably told this last time I was on, but I went to Stirling at Sandpit when that was still running. I think it was late Jan or early Feb. I had a chest infection. It was towards the end of it, so I was getting better. But I've turned up there in temperate MTP kit, so nice lightweight, a shitty spring sleeping bag, a roll mat that self-inflating issue roll mat that didn't work anymore, and proceeded to try and sleep on a concrete barn floor when it's about -5 degrees.
Nice.
It was, and I had shit boots on. I mean, they were expensive, but they were shit. They were no good for what I was doing. So I had great guns. They were fine. I had loads of food, I had tons of water. I could brush my teeth. They were sparkly and beautiful, but I was fucking freezing because I had the wrong sleep kit. And it's that's a lie. I wasn't that cold. I should have been freezing, but thankfully I don't feel it much. My toes were cold, and that was about it. But it's the wrong kit. So I was prepared. I knew loads of people that were doing it. I'd had loads of conversations. I had a set of night vision to use, but I didn't have any good sleeping kit. So it's
I mean, not great, but they don't keep you warm, do they?
Exactly. Yeah. So,
James C says sounds like you had a whale of a time.
Oh, it was brilliant. I had a great time. Don't get me wrong, I had a great time. It was just a struggle. But yeah, you learn from that, don't you? And I've never been cold since. It's just how it goes. Yeah. And we run one at Bush Valley where I don't think it got above 0 at any point for the whole weekend. The ground didn't defrost, but I was never cold at any point because you got the right kit. So it's
like you say, it takes doing events, things like that to sort of like to tailor your kit to yourself, doesn't it? To your needs. Yeah. Like we've said with regards to when people have asked us in the past, what sort of sleeping bag should I get? Because this one says it goes down to a comfort rating of this. It's like, but it's all comfort rating is all very personal to you. How cold I get to how cold you and Mike get. It could be 3 different numbers totally. Do you know what I mean? So you're only doing it, you're going to experience it then.
I can't sleep in a heavy duty sleeping bag because I will overheat. So I will only ever use like a moderate sleeping bag, even when it's -degrees, because I can't. As soon as it goes up over my head, that's it. I start sweating.
Yeah.
I mean, even the last stop we did together in September, I was sleeping in my pants, sweating my tits off at 4 o'clock in the morning. And when there was a stand to, I jumped out and body was absolutely frozen because I'm sitting on the end of my cot in my pants with my pistol in my hand, waiting for someone to breach the wall. But it's I'd been sweating my nuts off the whole
What a
night.
disturbing image to come into, though. You just
Oh,
sweating.
that's what I thought. I was shivering and sweating, barely aiming the pistol that's probably going to vent because it's so cold. Yeah. But I was too cold to reach the rifle because it was 2 foot away from me. Yeah, it's just one of them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
like
I mean,
that,
like
it's a
the
personal
last
thing.
Octo, I think the last Octo, March last year, it was like my sort of -5, -6. Then I've just t-shirt, boxers, pair of socks on, in my DOS bag on a roll mat. I've got the what they call Mylar sort of foil blankets. I was just put that as an in-between sort of thing, just again to reflect that heat back into you. But yeah, good as gold. Just a basher outside, beautiful, nice and toasty.
Yeah, so you love it though, didn't you? You do that sort of 6 nights a week, wouldn't you? Quite happily.
Oh, if I could, yeah. Do you know what I mean? If I had the abilities, mate, to go and just sleep in the woods for every night of the week, I'd quite happily do that. Just for the peace and quiet. It's lovely. Yeah.
Just no mortars or tag grenades going off all night, and it's all
That's
right.
it. Yeah, no, I'll be more than happy with that. Yeah, beautiful. Just a quiet pop of a bottle of claret. Just a little. That'd be beautiful. That's the only noises I want to hear.
Charlie Gaines says, "Oh, Mr. Little."
Oh, Mr. Gaines.
Mr. Gaines has joined, is he? How you doing, Charlie?
Yeah.
We had a little chat today. Unfortunately, he can't make the op. He's fallen another victim to the Legion one, but you know it's going to happen when you've got two so close together and you can't help it, can you?
That's it, mate. Exactly.
Yeah. So Paulus Wales says, "I get the filtering of players as it ensures everyone's on the same page."
Exactly that.
Rage says, "Surely then Lance and Mike can't come to an SEO event. Then they use Swish. What more do you need to know about their attitude?"
Nothing wrong with Swish, Rage. All right. Until you've tried it, Sunshine, you cannot comment. So
Paulus Wales says they also call water bottles canteens, which Rage agreed with.
I don't say why do they say they? There's no they in that at all. It's him. It's not you, Terry. Sorry, it's him up there.
Yeah.
Fucking canteens.
Silly Gilly says if you're cold, then you can use your nods to go for a run at night. That'll warm you up.
That's a good show.
I mean, I've tried to run in them. It's not a great idea, but yeah, fair point.
Jade says, "How do we find out about future events? Just by keeping in touch. Check the SOE Facebook page and could only see past events." Yeah,
because it's invite only, it doesn't appear. So you won't see it until you've had an invite. They do go on the website. So if you go on the website, you can see them, but you won't be able to open it because it's invite only. It is a little bit of an issue, but it's things like this, I suppose, because we only want small numbers. I'm not interested in 200 players. That's too many. That'll be shit as far as I'm concerned. So we prefer to keep the circle quite small, but new people are always welcome. It's a difficult thing to balance. I think what I do is I do post. If you look at our actual posts, I will post the information on Facebook and on my Instagram accounts, so you can see them, but you won't be able to actually access the event. So the idea of that is you'll see the post, then message me and say, can I get an invite? And then that normally leads to like a 2 or 3 message conversation. And believe it or not, there's a few people that I've had to say, I don't think this is for you already. But generally speaking, most people are like, yeah, that sounds, if you're looking for it, that probably means you've got the right kind of idea. But if you chuck me a message, then I can give you the information for it. That's not a problem.
Good stuff.
Cool.
And also, you'll be able to find the information on your website soon. Hopefully, I think we should be getting that.
Yes, I need to sort that out with you. I've been really bad on the website admin. I know you sent me an email.
Of course, yeah. Come on. Hell,
yeah, I know. There's a couple companies that are in the same position.
Website, won't they, eventually?
Yeah.
There will be. Yeah, more details will be on the NoFo website. Joe, do apologise for my colleagues and tardiness.
There's only so much I can do in a day.
That's what you get. When you're dealing with somebody who calls a water bottle a canteen, Jay. This is what you got to poke up with.
James C said about you sitting on the end of the bed with the pistol. He said bad drills. The rifle should always be within arm's reach.
Yeah, while I was laying down, it was. It's because I sat up. It wasn't anymore. Simple as that. I had the pistol's actually sitting on my chest. I sleep with it on my chest normally. If I know there's a chance of a raid, I sleep with it on the chest. But the To be
I always
honest,
wonder whether just if your billet does get hit at the night time, just laying there with a ball gag in and just turning around and going, whether they just go, fuck this. No, it's not for me. No,
just get someone breach the room, they open the door and then just pull the door closed.
Just lean down on the floor with your arms bound.
So, I mean, I suppose you could just get one of them stick-on dildos and slap that to the top of your box beside your top.
Why is it every episode always ends up in the same way?
Yeah, wow. We had to get there at some point. We're on 40, we're on 40 minutes.
Michael Barnes says, I made a great fire at Bush.
He did, yeah.
I assume there's a story there.
That's Mikey, the other half of SEO. So yeah, he did. He went. See, this is the thing. You have to look after the people in the field. So we were running a lot at Bush, and the temperature was way lower than we anticipated. I think it was October, and it suddenly got mega cold, especially in the valley because the wind was blowing down there. But it was wet, so people couldn't start a fire. Thankfully, Mikey's a caveman. And he went down and somehow with soaking wet materials made this magnificent fire that kept everybody safe throughout the coldest part of the evening. So yeah, that's just about attention to your punters' safety, I suppose.
Amazing what you can do with a tire and a gallon of diesel, isn't it?
Do you know what? He doesn't even use any fuel. I don't know how he does it. It's just he sits there with his kindling. He gets it going good.
Does he hunch way over and just start like whispering in like Celtic runes?
Yeah.
Just like
a true woodsman. Yeah, absolutely. Fair play to him.
True woodsman. Yeah.
So Mikey, then Terry, was he the Yacht 4 OC for Backward 2?
The one that's helping Stewie. Yeah.
Right. Okay. With it. Yep. Sound.
The one who was running around in the background doing so. He'll be assisting me as with running Yacht 4 for this event. Because that'll be the difference. I'll be running Yacht 4 for this event, which I haven't done for a really long time. So I'm quite looking forward to that.
I'll be there in the background with a little black book critiquing.
Oh, don't. If I'm doing something, there'll be 3 photographers and a videographer on me. I'm that vain. So don't worry. There'll be loads of
I'm going to have to try and get a picture. When you're doing your briefing, I'm going to have to try and get a picture. There'll be photo bombing in the background just like that. It's writing.
Yeah.
Harry, make sure when you see Lance, though, you get his autograph because that's really important.
No, I will.
Yeah, and a picture with him. That's always good.
I'll tell you what. I hope you're coming to this. I hope there's no more spaces on Op 4, but you have to go blue for this one. If you
we can't attend every event on the other sides, can we?
You can. It makes great content. Plus, when you say horrible things to me on this, I can shoot you in the face.
This has happened with me and Mikey before. We went down the road to the little skirmish place a lot of years ago, and we go there and they put us on opposite teams, and we ignored everybody else completely, totally ignored everybody else on the field, and just hunted each other for the entire night. It was great fun. There's like 40 people there, but in my eyes, there was only one person, and he was getting shot.
Just with a red hue round him, there's the
target. Basically,
yeah. Nick says, what are the uniform requirements?
So it is multicam, because you are UKSF, basically. And then the PMC guys will just run in civvies. That would be the easiest way to do it. You can use woodland camo if you want, don't mind that. But for what you'll be doing, I would say run in civvies. And it isn't even restrictive. We don't believe in having like well, if you're on task force, you can't wear a black jacket. If you're cold and you have a black jacket, you can put your black jacket on, because the communication and knowing where friendlies are is paramount in an event like that. And so if you don't know where your friendlies are, then it's your problem if you start engaging them.
And I think with that, where you said earlier with regarding having not small numbers, but a more controllable amount of people at a site, you can afford to do things like that. I think, personally, if you had a large scale event where, like you said, there's there's 100, 150 plus potentially per side, I think the uniform ruling would be slightly stricter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Because there's going to be a lot more spread out people. It's going to be, at least then, if you've got a smaller team, you've got like 2 or 3 fire teams, for example, you're going to know where they are. All right, we've got our guys
everything should be organised, designated, and whatnot. So it shouldn't really become an issue. But when you're having 2 people two teams that effectively come from the same group of people type, they would have similar kit. So, there's no reason why you can't wear a multicam plate carrier if you're on the PMC side. I don't want to see them wearing any multicam because that just wouldn't happen. But for me, I'll probably wear a pair of jeans and not this hoodie because I need to leave it at home so Lance doesn't take it. But some form of jumper.
That's not very sporting, is it?
But so that effectively that's what the requirements are. I've no issue if someone's wearing a bit of AOR1 on Task Force, but the warning order states.
That was my best mate.
So, Mikey. So that effectively that's what the uniform requirements are.
Fair play, mate. No, all good. Block colours if you're not going to go civvy for PMC. Is that all right? OD drabs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, anything like that.
Things like that.
I mean,
SAS, X Force, whatever uniform thing you were talking about earlier.
No, I can't work with that. That's not coming out yet till it's complete.
Yeah. You need a desert op for that anyway, didn't you?
I know, exactly. Yeah.
You need us to get a site in Saudi or something.
Out of Tenerife or something into the mountains.
Just following around with a bucket and spade of sand, just like sprinkling it, just like
yeah.
Just imagine you rolling around the dunes in Canberra sands with your kit on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, someone needs to open an airsoft site at Canberra. Come on.
Yeah.
just for a desert op.
Rage says, I've just noted Terry had guns behind him and YouTube hasn't shut down. Yes, we've been looking into the rules and regulations of YouTube. And basically, if Terry doesn't touch his gun, we're fine. As soon as anyone on the live stream touches them, apparently that's then manhandling your weapon.
We don't want that. Nobody wants to do that. Is that
related to the spate of people using their weapons on themselves during a live stream?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Probably,
but I'm not going to do that anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest, it'd take a hell of a long time with an airsoft gun.
It's just going to, I don't know.
Actually, well, you say that. There was a video I saw. I have to see if I can dig it out where someone was shooting.
We should talk about it.
No. Bear with me. They were shooting through like corrugated steel. You know, like the corrugated like metal sheets.
Yeah.
So there was some video I flagged up on my Facebook earlier where someone literally like cut a circle in the sheet. It's like, blimey, the FPS on that must be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a bit naughty.
Mikey had a gas sniper rifle we messed about with. I stuck some black gas in at his house, and it registered 1200 FPS with a 0.3 in it. So that got put down, and it hasn't moved since.
Let me shoot you in the back of the leg. No.
Well, the thing is, we fired it, and it was really low. It measured it about 30 FPS. He went, let me shoot you with it, see if it hurts. And I was like, no chance, mate. Fired the next shot, 1200. It's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. You're not shooting with that thing. No. There's no way. It's just broken that tile off the wall. It's not happening.
Oh, dear.
Andy says, are you nice to LMG gunners and let them run at 370 FPS?
Yes. Yeah, you've got an MED, so, you know, you need to have that little bit of extra. I mean, mine doesn't because nobody else lets you. So mine does about 340. But yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
It's good. You've got to keep the knuckle draggers happy, haven't we?
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, it's
latest Phil. All the best, mate. Enjoy work.
As I've already said, it's big boys rules, as we all know. So I'm not going to be measuring with a fine-tooth comb. You're expected to come with safe and correct equipment, and it will be checked, but you're expected to have safe and correct equipment. So the FPS limits are, as I said, as long as you can use it legally in this country, you can use it out in that field.
That's fair enough. Keeps it nice and simple, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Les said, so I know we covered sort of the numbers earlier. So if it's invite only, what's the numbers go up to? So what's like a rough? Because I know you said you didn't want to like give away too much.
Fishing for intel going on here.
Yeah, sorry.
Is it? I mean, is it like are we talking like within the low tens, or are we talking
more than
like...
5 aside? I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lose several thousands, so it's got to be more than 20 people. But yeah, it's It'll be sub 100. To put that, I could say that. Yeah.
But obviously that's spread. So that 100 is spread between the both sides, not necessarily straight down the middle.
And it isn't 100, but it's sub 100.
Yeah. It's not like we're not talking like 20 people.
Total. No. It's a proper number. It's just like I said, the blind force is correct. So
I like that. No, that's good.
Can't divulge. So when the warning order goes out for the task force guys, they will probably know how many fighting age males they're expected to encounter on the ground, because that information would be known. What wouldn't be known is the reverse. So the PMC guys wouldn't know, firstly, that task force were there, secondly, where they were, and thirdly, how many there are necessarily. So that information is important to not be known. The other way around, you take into consideration drones and satellite imagery, it would be known how many people task force are facing before they go. So that they'll probably know before the event. Us on up for, well, I will, but nobody else will on up for.
Fair play. No, it makes sense, mate. And that's obviously that's going to be intel that you're going to have to gather on the ground as and when, isn't it? From an op perspective.
Yeah. It's there will be recce teams that are known to be recce teams well in advance, so they'll be prepared to do that work. It is that those things are all going to be in place.
Recce is a recon, Mike, just to get you in the.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'll find that one. Nice one. Thank you.
There's more consideration to the things that you actually have to do. It's less shooty airsoft and more. It's not like being a real soldier. Of course, it's not, because no one. I've said this before. No one would pay for marching for 3 days, get into a location, sleeping for 2 hours, and then marching for 3 days home again. That isn't something that anyone wants to pay 90 quid to do. That isn't. What is it's not. It's more like play SF. That's effectively what it is. So we're trying to make as much of that involved as possible.
Yep. No, it's fair play, mate.
Yeah, sounds good. Andy says I can show you a nice way of having adjustable FPS on an AEG LMG, Terry.
That I will have to.
Depending on the LMG.
Oh, here we go. Now
I can't touch it, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's behind me.
No, don't even point to it. Just ignore it. It's not even.
It's not there.
So one of the things we kind of briefly just touched on before the show started was obviously COVID. So you finding that having to run an event in this current fun time that we find ourselves in, are you having to do anything different for that?
Yeah. So I mean, the last one we ran at Bush was postponed 3 or 4 times because of the lockdowns and stuff. And then when it came to it, we had marshals. I mean, there's something I'm heavy on. I don't like marshals as such. Not I have an issue with marshals, but I don't like to use them. But we had traffic marshals in so that we could put people in a car park and tell them not to move out their vehicle until I was ready for them to come to the sign-in desk. Then have a group from a bubble sign in together, move out the way, clean everything down, obviously temperature check them, clean everything down, then have the next group and then do the same, have the next group do the same. And it's quite long-winded and a bit of a pain, and you're telling people to not break their bubbles and to stay in their call signs and whatever else, not to share sleeping arrangements. But the subsequent one, I mean, obviously we shut Bush Valley as the first wave of COVID hit. So February 20 is when we ran our last game there as a skirmish, or our structured skirmish events. So we actually, and it was already planned that we were going to do that because I changed jobs and stuff, didn't have time for it each month. So we didn't get hit in the way that everybody else did in that the site closed because we'd already decided to walk away. Unfortunately, someone else was taking it over and it hit them, but it didn't affect us. Then, like I say, we'd planned to run this up straight after that, but we had to put it off for a while. Got that done. It was difficult. It was hard work. But the last one, BlackRock 2, to be honest, none of that was handled by me because it was actually an Imperium event directed by us. So the actual health and safety side of it, the rules, the briefings, all of that was nothing to do with me. But that was all managed quite well by the team again. It is difficult. I mean, I've attended a few. I've done 2 during the pandemic. I did a Sterling op at Gloucester Prison, which is obviously almost completely indoors all of the time. So that was small bubbles of 6. So each call sign was made of 2 bubbles of 6, split into sub call signs, and then sleeping arrangements were split. So we were sleeping within the admin block of the building. I was TL, so I was lucky. I had this tiny little room sleeping on my own, but everyone else, it was 2 guys in this room, 2 guys in this room, 2 guys in this room. So it was all very, very organised. It was all temperature checks and all that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely been a problem. But at the same time, with the right measures, I mean, depending on where we are, if we're talking still the numbers we've got now, then we will ask everybody to do a lateral flow the day before or the day of the op.
That's just sensible as well. And like Rage has just said in the comments here, you know, you expect people to be doing them before you're going to an event anyhow, with a lot of other people attending. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rage is saying, yeah, you'd expect people to do a test where there's going to be a lot of people, and I would say that who knows where we'll be in 2 months. It seems this new variant, I don't want to get into the political or scientific discussions of this new variant, but it doesn't seem to be quite as bad. I've got it right now, and I want to cough now because I'm thinking about coughing. But other than that, it's not really slowed me down. I could have worked. As I said to you before, I played Sunday because I did tests at the weekend because I got football, played airsoft. So I did tests and they were all negative, and I did a test Sunday night because I came back and was coughing, and that was negative. But by Monday morning, I had a very strong positive. So
it's crazy, isn't it? How you can do that?
Yeah,
all of a sudden, it's that switch at midnight, and it's
I'd done a test Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before, and that in total there was 4 tests in those 3 days, all negative. And I must have had it at that point. I didn't feel ill. I must have had it at that point before any sort of symptoms showed. But I'm not even have to take a paracetamol. It's very, very minor for me.
And exactly that. I mean, the amount of people that have had no indicators to say, "Oh, I better do a lat flow test" or anything like that, because you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Why would you just randomly, unless someone in the family's called it? Then I'd like me.
Yeah.
Like when my daughter had it, for example. I did lat flow tests every day. But I was doing 2 a day, one when I got in from work and one before I left for work, just to make sure I'm going to work with it. And as you do, I'm absolutely fine.
Kids had it. We've done loads. I've done loads of work because I travel around. I do site inspections, so I travel around all different sites, 2 a day, sometimes 3 a day. So I'll do lateral flows because if I travel around central London for 3 days, spreading that could be 6 different sites with 100 people on it. So
exactly.
I do the lateral flows, but I would, if we were still at the numbers we're at now, and if it was still the guidance to do so, I would say the lateral flow. But I mean, most people would do one as a matter of course anyway before you went to an op like that. I mean, we'll arrange the sleeping so that you're not going to have people. The actual fob for task force is undercover, but it's actually open. So there isn't. You're going to have a nice natural ventilation. Even the only place that's actually going to be fully enclosed are your ops rooms. So the sleeping will be roofed, but it's open, so you'll be dry, but you also got a nice airflow. It's really tough, but again, keeping the numbers low helps.
Exactly that, mate, for the space in that as well.
Choosing the people that attend. I mean, you're not going to weed out all the mongs. There will be people that are stupid, but you can. I mean, we're all airsofters, so there's a degree of that regardless. Yeah. But
a degree of idiocy is required, I think.
Of course, yeah. I mean, wanting to be shot big with pellets. Exactly. I got shot in the eyebrow the other day. I thought it was brilliant. I couldn't wait to congratulate the guy.
Yeah.
It's there's something wrong with all of us. I think it's just the way we are. But yeah, the actual COVID thing. I've waffled on long enough now. COVID thing is a problem, but I think it's easy to overcome.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the point where you realise you're quite odd is when you get shot and it hurts that much. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you whack one right on the inside of the thigh, and it gets to the point where you're like, oh,
yeah. That's not good.
I shouldn't be laughing about this, but I am. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Done that before.
Yeah. Yeah, running the CQB side, the sore ones happened when I was marshalling, to be honest. Getting shot on the hand when you've got your hand on the wall when someone shoots you in the knuckles from about 3 foot away. I've even got a gun on me. What are you shooting me for?
I've had one when it was who ran the depot? Was it Ambush Adventures?
The depot, not been there.
Aldershot. They had a site up there. It was basically a long corridor with a fire escape at the end of it. Someone shot in the door and it literally just clipped off my ear, and it proper like. I don't know what it did, but it sort of sliced through the top of my ear. It was like, yeah, that one hurt. That wasn't.
Just a rip.
I promise you that wasn't a. Ooh, that one hurt. That's like blood dripping down the side of my face.
That happened to me for the first ever game I attended. Actually, it was at Apocalypse, and I'd taken the stockade by myself with a pistol because people didn't see me coming. So I was strutting around the ground floor because it was a long time ago, so it's different then anyway. Strutting around like a peacock on the ground floor before someone tagged me right in the earlobe. I went to cry like a little girl. It hurt so much. It was August. So it wasn't even cold, but it hammered down. So my poor big lug holes were frozen. So yeah, just clipped the tip of my ear. So that's what this game's all about. At least I know now.
Yeah, that really hurt.
Yeah.
James says, my paintball days, I was shot in the nipple and the dick at the same time. That was at Holmbush trying to rush the crater.
No doubt you enjoyed that, James, because you are a very strong man.
I got shot in the tip of the finger at paintballing once.
I wondered where you were going then, because you were like, I got shot.
Tip of the finger. No, obviously holding it,
well,
good drills, and it literally just went whack on the.
Oh,
me that hurt. Oh my god. And I was still drunk at the time, and it still hurt.
My least favourite one was a kid shooting me in the face.
James said he didn't know what to rub first.
To be fair, how come you weren't squeezing them, James? You're that kind of guy. Do you have clamps on? He's ex-sailor. He's very strange.
Oh, there you go. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
The worst one I think I've ever had was a kid. I was stood in a bunker looking out through the slot, and the barrel came in from the side and shot me from about 3 inches away in the cheekbone.
Oh.
And I lost it. Totally lost it. So I turned to the kid and said, did you shoot me? He went, yeah. I said, you're on my fucking side, dickhead. And he went, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, look, seriously, you need to run because I am full of rage and I'm coming out. This kid running across the side to get away from me.
I don't imagine you getting angry either. I can imagine just like a cold sort of like, almost like Liam Neeson, like, you better run. I've got a unique set of skills.
No, I lose my mind. I absolutely lose my mind when I lose my temper. It doesn't happen very often, but yeah, I do. I really do lose my mind.
Well,
I'm not that calm.
I remember that then. I might not steal your hoodie.
I can't back it up. I'm loud. I can't back it up. Very badly. I'm all barking, no bark.
Marcus apparently managed to get shot on the tongue once.
Oh, that's a good one.
What on earth were you concentrating?
Do you know what? You're not supposed to put your tongue in the barrel. That's what it is. Don't do that.
Diffusing an in-game IED. Concentration face like that.
Yeah, no, it's Marcus's war face. He's just running around like,
Oh dear, mate. Honestly.
Did it pierce the tongue? That's the real question.
That's it, yeah.
No, that was let us know, Marcus. Les says I got shot in the forehead with a HPA sniper riff, and Danny picked it out at APOC and MilSim. I thought it was sweat, but no blood.
Oh, that's not nice.
Jade said he was probably licking a battery.
Yeah, could well have been. Yeah, just Marcus at the end of the day. It could have been anything.
Right, getting back on track. Les says, when you're running a MilSim, will you be running at numerous sites, and how many MilSims will be running this year?
Good question. So yes, because we don't use a fixed site anymore, and maximum 2. But there is other things that aren't MilSims that we're working on.
Very cryptic.
It won't be advertised. You'll only know about it if we choose to tell you. And if because we've been working on it for about 7 months, we can make it happen, and because it's proven very difficult at the moment. But it's airsoft, but not airsoft.
Terry, you're not planning anything illegal, are you?
No, it's fully legal.
Probably
Don't
not
worry.
the best place to talk about it.
No, I've learned my lesson.
We're still on the air.
You're talking to a guy who's had multiple PayPal payments sent to him with just the word Taliban attached in the payment section.
Yeah.
I'm on lists. Don't get me wrong. Don't worry about that. I am on lists. It's not a problem. I dare say I'm not going to leave the country for any time soon. It's not worth it. I will definitely get picked up at the other end.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's not good, is it? It's not the right way to go.
So when you pick a site,
don't do that.
when you pick a site, how do you sort of select a site that you want to run an event at? Is it kind of a case of someone offers you the opportunity and then you fit your event to that, or do you find a site and you're like, no, this doesn't have quite what we want. We're gonna like bring something in or fix it or change it.
What's happened with dog tag is that I'd never heard of it. Then we went and did the Defiant up there and went, wow, this site's brilliant. And then all went away after the op, and then sent messages saying, are you thinking about that site? Yeah, I think we could do this, this, and this. So that was just happened to be, we went there, did somebody else's op, loved the site, made contact with the Defiant guys and said, look, I'm thinking about approaching them. Is that okay with you? Because we're on good terms with those guys. So, I'd rather we were all, there's plenty of pie for everyone. We'll be friendly and work together on stuff. Don't overlap each other's dates and whatever else. So I spoke to those.
That's a good start right there. So the dates don't clash on events. Yeah, that'd be
exactly
brilliant.
That, yeah.
Only there was a calendar out there that people could put their dates on.
The thing is, we can't go to
or in fact, get given the password to allow you to put your events on the calendar.
Yeah, that'd be even handier, wouldn't it, Mike?
So that we arrived at that because there was an idea we could do that there. Sam had the idea of this op. He's written pretty much all of this one. This isn't my brainchild. This is his. I'm just facilitating it because he's watched far more SEAL Team than me, so he's got extra ideas that I haven't thought of just yet. So it's
love it, SEAL Team.
I've only got on the train lately, but I've managed to watch like 2.5 seasons in a matter of weeks, so I'm on it hard. Yeah, I watched the whole first season in 2 days actually, because they said it was coming off Now TV, so I was like, right, I'm going to watch it for every minute of every day that I'm not working. That's basically what so that's his. The next site we're hoping to go to, potentially, again, is one of the guys has done something there before and got an idea they want to do there. So we will approach them and ask them if we can use it. I have spoken to Landmark in the past. I've got clearance to use some of their MOD sites, but that was a long time ago. And then we decided to slow it all down, and then the pandemics all happened and everything else. But again, I'm not interested in treading on anyone's toes. So it's it's not. Yeah, it's not about trying to literally that. Not trying to tread on anyone's toes or do what anyone else is doing. Different places. Imperium, that happened because I like the site, and it seemed to be mutual. It was mutually beneficial. I think we've opened people's eyes to what could be done there. So hopefully the guys can roll on and carry on with that and do things. They've got their own team there, so hopefully they can carry on and do that. Obviously, we've used Shadow Ops in Dover, which is the site where I learnt to play early doors, and that's run by one of the Sterling Sabre team members. So again, there's like quite a rich MilSim history to that site almost. So we used that. That could potentially be one we use again in the future. We are looking for something urban at some point because we haven't done that yet.
Right.
So we will.
And if you've got a storyline sort of lined up, is there something you've got in the pipeline lined up for like an urban event?
I've got quite a few already, but I'd like to get a bit of a series going at some point. Right. We did that before and it worked well. this one won't be that. Well, it could be, but it probably won't be. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be affected by what happens in the real world, because if that all goes wrong and Russia decide to do something to Ukraine, then that will be very sensitive and that won't get visited again. But well,
you never know. We might all get called up at this point. So.
You've got to be sensible.
I don't mean. Can I just clarify that? I don't mean because we're airsofters and we might have skills. I just mean
a general call up. Yeah. Conscripts.
So I don't need to go through basic training. I'm an airsoft vet. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you know how many MilSims I've done?
Yeah, but can you do 10 press ups though?
I normally carry 900 rounds, mate. I'm fine.
Oh, don't stop.
Well, that mag's heavy. What are you doing? Yeah, so there is that is just what we have. I'm searching for a venue for a specific thing we're trying to do at the moment. That's proving to be difficult because it's something specific. There's when I worked for the NHS a few years ago, I used to look at all of the broken buildings and try and get those. They were never interested in letting me use any of them, whether they be rundown hospitals or whatever else. They would have been amazing. We spoke to Echelon about doing something there at some point, about us doing something CQB based there, but obviously that went by the wayside because the site's gone. So yeah, it's if we see something we like, then we've got a bank of ideas that we can run with for that to tailor to that venue. It's not going to be about quantity for us. It won't. We won't do more than 2 this year.
Right.
It's not because the amount of work that goes into the briefings is ridiculous, and you can't do it in a month because we've all got jobs. We've all got day jobs and
you have commitments in you. Yeah.
So it's it's not something we can't put one together every other month. It's not possible because the way we want to do it, it's going to be about quality, not quantity. So there will be 1, maybe 2 this year, and we'll see where it goes. See how things expand or where we want to go with it. Really.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Fair play. So is this something that you could see potentially becoming more of a full-time thing for you, or is this purely for the love and
it can never be
a little bit of dollar on the side sort of thing?
Yeah, it can never be a full-time thing because then I'll stop loving it. If that's what's got to pay the bills, you keep the table. At the moment, won't make any money from it because whatever we make will get reinvested.
Mm-hmm.
Because effectively, to make each one better, you need more kit. Simple as that. Whether that be drones, vehicles, whatever, that will be. We're heavy on cost for how we want to do things. The budget for props and pyro is big because that's what makes the event good. So the outlay is quite big for the ops. So the profit margins are not minuscule, but they're not big, and that will literally go into paying for more equipment. And then my garage is full now, so I'm going to need some form of lockup to store equipment. There's 4 TVs in my garage and chairs and tables and boxes and boxes of kit everywhere. So as we get more, we'll need more places to store it. So yeah, it's all about growing the brand for us. It'd be nice to make a bit of money out of it at some point, but at the moment it'll just be about improving the business in terms of assets and props and whatever else we choose to do. I mean, the props we use are all custom made stuff, so it's expensive kit. We're not bodging together bits that I've found anymore. We're doing things slightly differently now.
No, fair play, mate. Good on you. That's cool. Well, the proof in the pudding is all the events, how well they've been received. The last one, no bob on.
Let's see. This one, I'm confident will be really good. I'm not saying we'll be happy with it because we won't, but I'm confident it'll be really good. I expect it to blow the last one away. To be honest, that'll
be a feat in itself. From my point of view, from what I've done for like first time rolling as Op 4 and the team that I was with guys and a few of the new guys that was sort of seconded onto us. What we done and the naughtiness and chaos that we caused over the weekend was wicked fun.
The final ambush was amazing, and I'm glad I came over to you guys for that, because that was my personal highlight, was absolutely malleting people as they're piling out the back of the armoured vehicle.
Even the night ops bit for us. I mean, there's only myself and Dragar Airsoft with nods and thermal and stuff like that, and the rest of the section was just like white light or following close behind with us.
Yeah,
a little chem light sort of thing showing, but we all literally just it was just brilliant. And the night bits of patrolling through the night and getting into a few contacts. And that's a bonus for thermal, I suppose. There's no IR emitted or anything like that. You just
exactly, yeah.
And they're just like,
thermal's the way.
Did you come from?
Thermal's the way. I mean, like Charlie on here earlier, years ago, one of the ops we was at, his lads have come bowling through the woods.
Cheers, Nick. All the best, mate.
Have come bowling towards their own fob, and there's a lad in the watchtower with one of those, is it a T20 thermal thing, like 500 quid thermal scope, and he's called out the challenge, but they didn't know it because they'd arrived late. And you got lads with Gen 3 white Foss, and he's just gone bop, 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 done a lot of them. They're like, how could you see us? We've all got Gen 3 white Foss. He's like, thermal. I could see every single one of you from a mile off with thermal. So this little 600 quid thermal could overcome the power of a $5,000, 14 white Foss Gen 3, beautiful unit, but you overcome it because you can just see more. You can see people, and that's it. So it's it's a massive benefit, thermal.
100%, mate. 100%.
I mean, the last stop we did with the Defiant one, my old Gen 2 unit was completely useless when we went out on patrol on one of the ops at night. It was so dark, I couldn't see a thing. It was more dangerous trying to use it than it was using my naked eye.
So it would have forced you to use an IR illuminator sort of thing?
Yeah. So if you got thermal, I mean, navigation purposes, it was totally useless. Thermal wouldn't help you with that either, would it? But in terms of targets, I had to flip up. I was with another lad who was using a better nod than I was, and we both had to flip up and go to white light because we couldn't see people 30 yards in front of us.
That's a good thing with Dragar, because he had his green's eye with thermal, so he was sort of like nabbing. He's sort of a bit of the lay of the land, and we've got this coming up. I can with my thermal if I just adjust it a slightly touch, but then it's just target acquisition for it.
Yeah, whack.
You got two guys 50 yards ahead of us, and he's like, really? And I'm like, yep, right there. He's like, wicked.
He's got a new unit, isn't he, Dragar? He's just purchased himself a new unit, so he'll be.
Yes, I think I did see him. I've seen a couple of picatures on Instagram, which is cool. Yeah, nice.
You'll see him next week. Yeah.
Is he going to be at Octo next week?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I might have to message him then.
Yeah, for sure.
PMC. You better be going PMC. You better be.
I think he is. I'm sure he told me he was.
He's not.
But he's with us at Cabret as well. He's booked on.
Oh, wicked.
He's on with his lad, so he'll be with us on that as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
Yeah, got a lot of time for him.
A couple of things. So Silly Gilly's been putting a few messages in. I haven't been ignoring him. He's just Silly Gilly said about time it took for the briefings. That recce tasking at Imperium was insane.
Yeah, it was, and it was designed to be insane. So that was all done with ISR and having a team patrol him out into position, monitored so that he could slip through undetected and get in position. I believe he ended up actually engaged with the target, and that sort of foiled it. But the planning of it, the live ISR footage, all that stuff worked brilliantly. And again, that's where you're coming from with the realism of it. So it's I'm not saying that would happen again, but similar level of detail will be put into ops to do stuff like that.
Yeah, nice, good stuff, mate.
He also said night game. I love you guys.
That was hilarious. Literally, that was our fob. In the
he was all around you, wasn't he?
Well, this is the weird, because I came back in and there was probably like a muster of 4 guys that sort of stood around a little fire, and it's just sort of like, are you in game? Have you got a stag set up or anything like that? And they're like, nah. And I was like, okay. right? We literally just got back in from a patrol. Literally, the boys are literally just getting back to their bashes, just like to get a bit of scram down the necks and a drink and bomb up again. And literally, no sooner have I said, "Are you doing this?" I turned around and I was just the main trail which comes through the middle of our fob. I looked and I went before I could even say anything. I was just like, "Hit," and I'm literally Ed's laying in the pathway about 8 foot from 4 of these dudes stood around a fire. They've not even spotted him. And he just went, "I love you, Lance." I was just like, how the fuck? You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, mate, yeah, it's one of them. And then obviously that led on to the rest of the evening from there. Yeah, that was good fun. Yeah, fair play to him.
He also says, yeah, what is with the date clashes? Can someone fill me in? MilSim's a small community. Why take what few players there are? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know, Terry, from your perspective.
Go on, sorry.
So I was just going to say, are there like, I know there's like an airsoft. I'm coming through someone else's screen. I know there's like an airsoft community for like sharing documentation and stuff like that. That someone's added me to recently. But is there like any sort of like airsoft MilSim community for like organisers or anything like that? Sort of share knowledge or anything?
Not really, because there's so few of us. To be honest, I didn't know Mike was coming back into doing long ops. I thought they were continuing with Battle Sim, so it didn't matter. I don't worry about clashing with Sterling because they're a monthly, sometimes twice a month organiser. So there's no point in worrying about that. And at the moment, we're nowhere near big enough to touch them anyway. Octo, they're different. It's a very different sort of thing. So I don't worry about what they're doing too much. But the Defiant guys are probably the most because they're sort of similar location. So we talk to each other and we've compared dates to make sure we discuss where we're going and what we're doing so that we know we don't clash with each other. I don't know what to say. I mean, the Legion one came out months after me, so it's I don't know.
I think the thing that Mike's got to contend with from Legion is obviously he only ever runs events at obviously the MOD site, so I'm guessing it's as and when he gets dates released to him. It's not so much him harking off to them saying this is the date I want.
I don't believe that it's in any way a deliberate.
Which is probably quite frustrating for him at the same time. Do you know what I mean? I can only imagine. The trouble is,
like, shit, he will need. For the site he will need much bigger numbers than I will, because it's expensive to hire an MOD site, and he's got to put a lot more into that. It's not a deliberate clash. I didn't speak to Mike. Because like I said, Legion weren't doing anything when I set the op. So, yeah. Again, I've spoken to Mike loads of times, and I've got no issues with the guy at all. So he's easy enough to get on with. It's just one of them things. It's just the way it's turned out. And I don't really know what else you could say. I mean, we considered moving, but then if I move, I'm then close to other people's ops. So you've got, if I move to April, Defiant, because we were doing March, they've decided to do April and they're doing it at Camp Sparta. So if I move to April, I'm going to be a week or 2 weeks away from their date. And you're eating into each other's players again. It's just one of them.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Obviously, you're looking for the good weather seasons as well. Like that, it was as fun as it is running through the winter. And I mean, I don't mind doing winter events. I mean, they're wicked fun, and it puts your kit through a test. It puts you a bit more of a test.
Yeah,
for you.
I don't mind it because it stops me from sweating too much. So it's all right.
Perfect, brilliant for me.
It's lovely. Yeah, I think it's why I like playing football this time of year because it doesn't. But I mean, like the Sterling guys, they did trees at the weekend, but they have such a rigid following in the community that they will always get numbers that they need, and then when they go and do a Stanta or a whatever, they'll get excess numbers. But I mean, the MOD thing's a ball ache anyway because they can whip it away from you like that, can't they? That's the trouble.
Well, this is exactly it, mate. Yeah.
Again, like with Sterling, as they had one at Caerwent over a bank holiday weekend a few years ago, when people are on their way, you talk about people that come from near me to Wales to do this, and they're told, from 11 o'clock you're gonna have to stop because there's guys out there training. So the whole point of going somewhere like that is to do a bit of urban nighttime stuff, and now you've got to stop and watch guys do, or you can see them do training because you can see the clothes you've got nods on, but there's guys out there doing training. So the MOD can really shoot you in the foot with that stuff. I think Mike's got a slightly different scenario though, isn't he? Longmore, because the relationship's pretty good. So he's
yeah. I think if he gets it, he gets it, and that's it. There's no to and fro, and he's got it for that block, and that's it.
Interfering. I mean, the thing is, Glad's largely anticipated up. A lot of people have enjoyed that series, haven't they? So people will. I can't remember which is the one I did. I went to one of them, but people are waiting for it. So it is what it is.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough, buddy.
James makes a good point. He says if people are interested, they will come. Also, I believe it's about loyalty in the player community. So, I mean, I completely agree with that. I guess the problem for me personally this year is that I've got a lot of loyalty to a lot of companies, and I'm very restricted in terms of how many events I can actually go to in the year. So
that's the trouble, isn't it? Having two good companies or two good events close to each other, just like fuck.
Yeah. It is what it is. Again, I'm not big on the expecting player loyalty side of it, because, like you say, if you like Legion's events and you like our events, there's no reason why you can't like both events. So you can't ask someone to choose, and I can sell you the site we're using, but if you've never been there, you don't know what it's like. Yeah. And if Longmore's somewhere you like. From a personal preference, I'm not a massive fan of Longmore. I don't like how it breaks out in terms of urban stuff. Like the Winnie Catterick, I think is way better in terms of how you can have a functional op in an urban environment. But at the same time, if you want to go door kicking, Longmore's your puppy in it, because you've got house on house and house on house and house and house.
Oh my, yeah, for sure, 100%.
If that's what you like, that's what you like. I'm a woodland guy. So for me, I'd rather be in the woods, but it is what it is. It's people like, so I don't think it's necessarily about loyalty. I get what James is saying, but I'm not. If people have been waiting 2 years or whatever it is for another Glad, I wouldn't be expecting people that love that series to turn it down just to come to ours. It's just not how it's going to be.
No, that's fair enough, mate.
So, we'll let the last few questions come in. But Harry said, if you need any props, just let him know. Harry is like our go-to props guy in the audience. He's, I think, Harry, I'd be interested to know how you're getting on with your Reaper drone that you were building at one point.
Yes, Reaper drone. Isn't he doing isn't he building something? RoboCop suit, Winter Soldier. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a whiz with 3D printing and that. And he's your man. Electronics. Yeah. Anything you need, Terry, just talk to Harry, hook you up.
Silly Giddy said, "Where did you play this Sunday?"
Did I go?
I guess that's from. So who have you infected?
I went to Battle Lakes. I did let them know straight away. Actually, funny enough, they did put the post out. It's felt terrible for it, but what can you do? It's not a deliberate thing.
You're not going to know if you don't know. You don't know, do you? That's it.
No, exactly. Exactly. But I let them know straight away. Luckily, it was like nice low numbers. But it was a really, really good day, actually. Best day I've had for ages.
Andy Bob says, question, can I come to your next event?
Yeah, ping me a message and we'll have a chat about it.
That's it, yeah. He definitely needs vetting.
Sorry, so James says need to rent out the shopping mall in Singapore. After hours, it becomes a brothel over 5 floors. Well, it was when I last went.
Interesting. It's interesting gameplay there.
I'm not sure how I'm going to get the insurance to cover that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it doesn't appear on the
floor. Actually,
sorry.
So, talking. There's some. The Camelot Castle theme park. You heard about this recently? They're running some sort of zombie experience thing in that apparently coming up, which would be quite an interesting one. I don't know if it's like an airsoft thing or if
where's
it's
that
like
then, Mike?
I don't know. I was expecting you to know where it was.
I remember that documentary about a disused theme park, which is all castle based, but it was like in the 80s. It was like it had its heyday and it sort of shut quite quickly, like a privately owned one. Whether that's it or not.
Surely. Which is
Breakaway,
northwest of Manchester.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
bit of a trek.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go from Harry. Look, currently making 8 times breaching debts for a training weekend and some building clearance. Reaper drone is nearly finished. Amazing. Can't wait to see that.
And sorry, going back to people asking, obviously, if someone will vouch for you that's attending, then there's that isn't an issue. If someone who is within the trusted circle will vouch for you and say that you're cool, then that's fine. You'll get an invite. There's no problem with that. That's where the loyalty comes from.
We won't know.
Andy said, wait, hang on. No, Lance is probably right. I do need that.
Oh, well, honesty is the best policy, mate. There you go.
Right, well, we'll probably call it time because we've now gone an hour and a half. So thanks, Terry, ever so much for coming on, mate. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And
thank you for having me. Sorry, waffling.
No, all good, mate. You love a waffle. Much appreciated, bud.
So just going back to those people that missed it at the beginning, we've now got some stickers. So if you bump into a Lance or I at an event, feel free to ask for one of these. We'll have a few of those floating around. Jay gave me a good idea.
I currently have none on me. So
when I next see Lance is when he will then have some stickers. Jay gave me a really good idea for I was a brave NoFo sticker. We obviously had the I'm a bad NoFo patches. So I might make up like a little I'm a brave NoFo sticker because stickers are remarkably more cheaper than patches.
You will not believe.
So yeah, cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Again, thank you, Terry. That way, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on.
So yeah, if you want to get in touch with Terry, how do people get in touch with you?
Via you guys posted my Instagram. What do you call it? Handle, is it? Name, whatever, that thing. You can do it there. You can do it through the SEO Airsoft page. There's a page, there's a group. Join the group. Send me a message through there. Website with an email address on it. There is multiple ways to contact me.
Someone's just asked if I can put it on the screen, so I'm just doing that now.
Someone's working his magic there.
There you go.
At SEO MilSim.
That's one of the many ways to get hold of me.
That's it.
Wicked.
But if you do it tonight,
Adam's only just arrived.
Thanks
for joining us, Adam.
Nice one, Adam. You're the best, mate. Yeah, I knew I could count on you to get her on time.
So if anyone wants to get in touch with us, we can always give you Terry's contact details as well. So just ping us a message. You can email us at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is @November Foxtrot, @November_Foxtrot_NoFo. Facebook is November Foxtrot NoFo. Our YouTube is youtube.com/c/November Foxtrot. And there's also our website, which is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk or lance.com for the rest of the year. It's very exciting. So cool. Right. On that note, say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Everyone.
We'll see you soon. Have a good one.